Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Football Betting Series here on YouTube, UEFA Edition. Thanks to a perfect week in Europe last time out, we have now pulled back our deficit, and our overall UEFA record stands at 6 wins, 3 losses with 0 pushes, and we're even in profit, just £6.75. However, that does have a big impact to the overall record for the series: 41 wins, 15 losses, and 4 pushes. We're knocking on the door of £300 profit of £294.25. A quick disclaimer is before we get into today's picks, the stats and recent matches are taken before the weekend immediately preceding the games, so the form does not take into account the 9th and 10th of March. So with that out of the way, if you think I'm talking some sense in today's video, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into our picks. We kick things off on the Tuesday in the Champions League as Napoli play host to Barcelona. And Napoli beat Juventus by 2-1 in their most recent game, thanks to goals from Kvaratskhelia and Raspadori. In what has been a frankly poor defence of their Serie A title this season, Napoli have seen an uptick in form lately, recording back-to-back wins for the first time since late September. As such, they sit 7th in Serie A. Now, Napoli reached this round of 16 encounter by finishing second place in Group C with an overall record of 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 defeats to their name. However, they only scored 9 and allowed 10 in their group stage matches. It's a decent showing, but really nothing to write home about, and they will be dissatisfied to have conceded more than they scored. They play host to Barcelona, who in their last game failed to score in a 0-0 draw away at Bilbao. In this game, we saw very little goal-mouth action, with just 4 efforts on target and barely scraping together 1 XG between both sides. The positive for Barcelona is that the result does mean that they are unbeaten in their last 6 league games and unbeaten in 7 across all competitions. The Catalan club reached the round of 16 by topping Group H, just ahead of Porto thanks to a superior head-to-head record. They recorded 4 wins with 0 draws and 2 defeats to their name. They did average 2 goals scored per game, but they did concede a goal every game on average. Head-to-head, well, the last fixture finished 1-1, with goals from the main strikers in Lewandowski and Osimhen. A game in which Barcelona had the better of the chances, but there was an overall lack of quality in the final third, both teams combining for an XG of just 1.56. And it's this that's leading me to think that goals are going to be at a premium in this one. In the previous round, 4 of Napoli's 6 group games saw under 3.5 goals, the 2 exceptions being the defeats at the hand to Real Madrid, where Napoli allowed 3 and 4 goals, respectively. Similarly, Barcelona also saw under 3.5 goals in 4 of their 6 group games, the 2 exceptions being the opening and closing matches against Royal Antwerp. Additionally, the first leg between these 2 sides saw only 2 goals, so I think we're looking good for the unders here. Now, under 2.5 goals looks like a decent price. However, I'll not be greedy and take the extra peace of mind that comes with under 3.5 goals at shorter odds, and that's going to be for a full stake in bet number 1. Sticking with the Champions League in bet number 2, Borussia Dortmund play host to PSV, and Dortmund picked up a pretty simple 2-0 win against Union Berlin last weekend. A welcome result for sure, as Dortmund have not won in their previous 3 matches, but they're going to hope that this is a start of a run which will see them secure European football for next season. In European football, Dortmund qualified for this stage of the Champions League by topping the group of death, ahead of PSG, Milan, and Newcastle as well. Despite only scoring 7 goals in their 6 group games, they did enough at the back to secure an overall record of 3 wins, 2 draws, and just the 1 defeat. PSV are today's opponents, and despite dominating their most recent game for large spells, they could only muster against a solid Feyenoord side, with that match finishing 2-2. Whilst the draw is not ideal, PSV are still top of their league with a sizable gap ahead of their opponents Feyenoord. And that's going to happen if you fail to lose a single league game over the course of a season. It's simply incredible stuff from the Eindhoven side. When we look at the head-to-head records, the previous game finished 1-1 between Dortmund and PSV, thanks to de Jong's penalty levelling the score after Marlon's opener. PSV managed to nudge ahead of the German side in that game, edging out on possession, shots, XG, and passes completed. However, they were ultimately unable to make their chances count, and Dortmund will be the happier to bring a draw back to the Signal Iduna Park. It's here at home where I do think that Dortmund can change the tide of the round. I'm looking for them to make use of their home advantage and qualify for next round. However, winning the game outright feels a bit of a trap to me. The odds are solid enough that I want the extra reassurance of extra time and perhaps penalties if I need them, especially when we take into account that Dortmund have only won 2 of their last 5 games at home in normal time. So I'm going to be taking Dortmund to qualify at the odds of about 1.5 in bet number 2. I must admit, a third pick was not easy to come by for this episode. There are a number of high scoring affairs which effectively killed the ties as contests. I mean, Liverpool winning 5-1, Roma winning 4-0, Villarreal also beat Marseille by 4-0. At one point, I was delighted to see Karabag take a 2-goal lead against Bayer Leverkusen, so Bayer Leverkusen to qualify would have been the play. However, Alonso's side managed to claw back a 2-2 draw and effectively kill any value in the second leg for us. However, I have found one game that I'm keen on, and it's in the Europa Conference League. Club Brugge host Molde, and Club Brugge are coming off a 3-0 win against Genk in their most recent domestic game. This was their first win in 3 matches, and really this run of form has seen the Club Brugge secure third place in the Belgium League. They're 12 points behind both Anderlecht and USG. Now, Club Brugge reached this round in the competition by topping Group D in the Yukon with an unbeaten record of 5 wins and 1 draw to their name. What's pretty impressive is this group was not a cakewalk. It contained Bodo Glimt, Besiktas, and Lugano, who would not look out of place in the Europa League, so credit where that's due. The away side, Molde, they've been on a break from their domestic league since the turn of the new year. This means that Molde's most recent competitive games were the back-to-back wins against Legia in the previous round of the Yukon. Now, Molde have reached this knockout round by finishing third place in Group H of the UEFA Europa League, behind Leverkusen and Karabag. Subsequently, they dropped down into the Yukon, where they've scored 3 goals in back-to-back games against Legia to be drawn against Club Brugge. Head-to-heads, well, the reverse fixture was a well-contested game for sure, with Club Brugge perhaps having the slight edge. However, it was Molde's Fredrik Gulbrandsen who scored a 92nd minute winner, take a 2-1 lead for the Swedes into Belgium. I think the main thing to consider here is the location of the game. Club Brugge are stronger at home than they are away, with a domestic record of 7 wins, 6 draws, and just 1 defeat at home. Away from home, they're still solid. They have 6 wins, 3 draws, but 5 defeats. The winning percentage is lower by around 8%. Additionally, Club Brugge are yet to lose at home in the Yukon, and they average 2 goals per game over that time at the Jan Brendel Stadium. I'm going to be backing Club Brugge for a half stake to beat Molde. If they win the game by a single goal, we're looking at extra time. If they win by more than that, they'll be through to the next round. Club Brugge to win for a half stake. So there we have it. 3 picks in today's episode, starting off on the Tuesday night. Napoli host Barcelona. We're taking under 3.5 goals. I'm expecting the odds to be about 1.5. £30 stake to return 15. Continuing in the Champions League on the Wednesday, Dortmund versus PSV. We're backing Dortmund to qualify. Odds of 1.58. £30 stake to return 17.40. And on the Thursday, we're going straight to the Conference League. Club Brugge versus Molde. Club Brugge to win the game, not necessarily qualify, but to win the game in 90 minutes. Odds of 1.49 are £15 half stake to return 7.35. So across the midweek, we're going to be risking £75 to hopefully pick up as much as £39.75. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.